Listen up, woman. I need you to hear me right now, because life ain't waiting and neither is God. He's moving in ways you can't see yet, touching doors that have been closed, flipping pages in your story that you thought were done. Don't sleep through this moment. Don't shrug off the whispers, the signs, the little pushes that feel like coincidence but ain't. Every tear you cried, every time you thought you were alone, every heartbreak that made you question your worth, it wasn't for nothing, it was the prep. It was the lining for the gold that's about to shine through you. You've been carrying storms, walking through valleys, thinking you're stuck, but you ain't. God's about to change the game for you, flip the script in ways the world can't even imagine. But here's the deal, change don't knock twice. You gotta recognize the signs, step into the fire, and claim the life that's waiting. Open your eyes, open your heart, and don't blink, because what's coming? It's bigger than fear, bigger than pain, bigger than anything that tried to hold you back. This is your moment. Don't miss it. Timing is everything, woman, and the truth is, life moves in ways you can't always control or understand. You've been hustling, grinding, and praying, feeling like your efforts are invisible, like the world's playing some cruel joke, but God's clock is never late. There's a rhythm to life that's bigger than your plans, bigger than your expectations. And when you start recognizing it, you begin to see the invisible hand guiding you, nudging you toward your purpose. Sometimes the signs are loud, a door opens, a person shows up, an opportunity appears when you least expect it. But more often, they're quiet, subtle, almost invisible. They come in moments when your heart skips a beat, when a thought keeps repeating, when circumstances line up in ways that feel too perfect to be coincidence. Learning to read that rhythm, to trust the timing, is the difference between living lost and stepping into the life that's meant for you. Too many women rush, try to force outcomes, and miss what's being set up right in front of them because it doesn't look like they imagined. Divine timing isn't about speed, it's about alignment. It's about moving at the pace of the universe, not the pace of your frustration. Every struggle you face, every delay, every moment of waiting isn't a punishment, it's preparation. God doesn't just throw blessings at people who aren't ready. He shapes the vessel first, builds the strength, sharpens the faith, and when the moment arrives, it hits like a storm that changes everything. And here's the thing, you can feel it if you pay attention. The quiet nudges, the gut instincts, the moments where your heart tells you, this is it. That's the universe speaking. That's God lining you up for your destiny. But awareness takes practice. It takes slowing down in a world that tells you to rush, to compare, to measure yourself by what others are doing. It takes listening to your spirit, noticing the patterns, trusting even when the evidence seems invisible. When you start to live with this awareness, the waiting stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like a rhythm, like the universe is dancing with you, leading you to the right people, the right opportunities, the right breakthroughs. And make no mistake, God's timing doesn't fail. It doesn't stumble. It doesn't forget. It doesn't run out. What's meant for you will never miss you, but only if you are awake to it. Only if you can see the signs. Only if you can hear the whispers in the middle of your chaos. You don't have to understand the entire plan. You just have to trust the moment you're in. The door that's opening, the opportunity that's appearing, even if it's disguised as struggle, even if it's wrapped in uncertainty, even if it doesn't look like your dream at first glance. Timing is sacred, and recognizing it means you start to live in the flow where every step, every decision, every encounter begins to make sense because you've stopped fighting the clock and started dancing with it, trusting that God's rhythm is perfect. Change ain't easy, woman, and nobody ever said it would be. It hits hard, shakes the foundation, forces you to question everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world. You've been walking in familiar spaces, holding on to routines, clinging to the known because it feels safe, because the unknown terrifies you. But the truth is, what God is about to do in your life doesn't fit inside the box of comfort. Transformation is uncomfortable. Growth is loud, messy, and sometimes it feels like it's breaking you down before it can build you up. You felt it, the moments when life flips upside down, when doors close without warning, when the people you trusted leave, and it seems like everything you depended on is gone. That's not punishment. That's preparation. That's the universe clearing space, make room for what's next, making room for the blessings that you've been praying for but couldn't enter your life until you were ready. Embracing change isn't just about accepting what comes, it's about leaning in even when fear whispers in your ear, telling you to stay small, telling you to wait, telling you that maybe this isn't for you. That voice is a lie. Every challenge, every twist, every turn, every shift is God's hand at work, guiding you into alignment with your purpose. The woman who resists change stays stagnant, stuck in cycles of frustration, wondering why life keeps serving the same lessons over and over. The woman who embraces change, who meets it with courage, who trusts that even chaos has a plan, steps into a life that's bigger, richer, more powerful than she could ever imagine. And it's not about being perfect, about having everything figured out, or about knowing the destination. It's about trust. It's about faith in the process. Faith that every ending is really a beginning. A faith that every door that closes is redirecting you to the door that should have been open all along. Change strips you, exposes you, forces you to see your true self, the one that's strong, resilient, unshakable, and ready. It challenges your identity, pushes you out of the roles and masks you've worn, and invites you to step fully into who you are meant to be. And when you finally embrace it, when you let go of the fear, when you stop clinging to yesterday and open your hands to today, you start to see the power in it. Change isn't something to survive. It's something to welcome, something to move with, something to harness, because it's the signal that something divine is on the way. It's God's way of saying, I see you. I hear you. I'm about to do what you can't do for yourself. And the beauty is, once you embrace it, once you step into the unknown, you realize you've been ready all along. You've been built for this moment, and every tear, every struggle, every late night, every prayer, it all leads to this point, the point where your life shifts forever. Struggle is real, woman, and it's never easy. Life has a way of testing you in ways you didn't see coming, throwing storms at your feet when you're barely holding on, making you question your worth, your strength, your purpose. But here's the truth. They don't come to break you, they come to build you. Every sleepless night, every heartbreak, every disappointment, every betrayal, every moment when you thought you couldn't breathe, that's the forge where strength is made. You see, God doesn't just bless the easy, He blesses the prepared, the ones who've been refined in fire, who've learned to rise when the world knocks them down, who've learned to keep moving when everything inside screams to stop. Struggle is the signal that you're alive, that you're growing, that you're on the path that's meant for you. Pain is not a curse, it's a teacher. Every tear you've shed, every wound you've carried, every setback you've endured is God shaping you, molding you into a woman who can handle the life He has waiting for her. And strength doesn't come from avoiding struggle. It comes from facing it, standing in the middle of it and saying, I will not be defeated. Too many people see struggle and shrink from it. Let it define them. Let it convince them that they're weak. That life is against them, that they're not enough. But those who understand the game know this struggle is the proof that something bigger is coming, that doors are about to open, that victories are being lined up behind the scenes while you fiends, while you battles you don't even know are part of the plan. And here's the secret, you've been stronger than you realized all along. Every time you survived when you thought you wouldn't, every time you kept moving when your spirit screamed to quit, you proved it to yourself. Strength grows in the moments no one sees, in the silence when you're alone with your thoughts, when you wrestle with fear and doubt and come out standing taller than before. God uses struggle to teach patience, to teach resilience, to teach you how to carry your blessing without breaking under the weight of them. He doesn't spare you because He doesn't need to. He strengthens you because He knows that what's coming is bigger than anything you've faced. And the beauty of it is, once you understand that, struggle stops being a punishment and starts being a signal. It becomes a reminder that you're walking a path that matters, that you're stepping into a life that's bigger than your pain, but that your trials aren't the end. They're the prelude to triumph. Every scar, every wound, every hardship becomes proof of endurance, proof that you're ready for the breakthroughs, the opportunities, the blessings that are waiting just around the corner. I'm ready to lift you higher than you've ever imagined, because God doesn't waste struggle. He transforms it into strength. You have to understand this, woman. Your worth isn't determined by the world, by the people around you, or by the mistakes you think you've made. There's a fire inside you that's unshakable, a spark that no rejection, no failure, no betrayal can ever extinguish. God created you with purpose, with intention, and every part of your being, your mind, your heart, your spirit is a reflection of that divine design. Too often, the world tries to convince you that you're not enough, that your voice doesn't matter, that your dreams are too big or your presence too small. But here's the truth: you are chosen and your identity is powerful. You've been walking around carrying weights that aren't yours to bear, letting opinions, judgments, and comparisons define your value. That ends now. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need permission to shine. You are a force in this world because God made you that way. The real power comes when you stop looking outside for validation and start looking inside, recognizing that your strength, your beauty, your potential, and your purpose come from Him. When you own your identity, you stop living in fear of being looked by people, by society, by circumstances. You stop shrinking to fit spaces that were never meant for you. You stand tall because you know who you are, not because anyone else told you, not because anyone else clapped for you. And here's the thing: embracing your self-worth is a revolution. It changes the way you walk into rooms, the way you carry yourself in relationships, the way you tackle opportunities. When you value yourself, you stop settling for less. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop walking in shadows. You step into the light because you know you deserve it. God doesn't make mistakes, and He doesn't give purpose without equipping you to handle it. Every challenge, every dream, every trial is tied to the truth of who you are. And when you align with that identity, nothing can hold you back. People may doubt you, doors may close, circumstances may try to tell you a different story. But when you know your worth, you can navigate all of it without losing yourself. Self-worth is more than confidence. It's the armor that protects your spirit, the foundation that keeps you grounded when life feels unstable, the compass that guides you toward your destiny. And the beautiful part is that it's always been there, even when you didn't see it, even when the world tried to convince you otherwise. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to fight for it. You just have to claim it, step into it, and live from it. Every prayer you've whispered, every tear you've cried, every moment of doubt, God has been reminding you of your power, of your place, of your identity. When you finally embrace that, when you finally own who you are, the world can't touch you the same way again, because nothing and no one can diminish what God has already declared about you. Courage isn't the absence of fear, woman, it's stepping forward in spite of it. Life will throw moments at you that shake your soul, moments that make you question if you're ready, if you're strong enough, if you even belong in the space you're trying to occupy. But God doesn't call the comfortable. He calls the brave. He calls the ones willing to take that step, even when the ground feels unstable, even when the path isn't clear, even when the world is shouting that it's too risky, too soon, too impossible. Fear is a liar, and it shows up to keep you small, to convince you that waiting is safer than walking, that staying in the familiar is better than embracing the unknown. But every breakthrough, every blessing, every life that's ever mattered came from someone who refused to let fear dictate their destiny. Courage is what pushes you past hesitation, past doubt, past the voices in your head that say, I can't, I shouldn't, I won't. Courage is when you take that first step toward your dream, toward your calling, toward the life God has been preparing for you, knowing full well that the world may not understand, may not celebrate, may not even notice, but you move anyway because you know what's at stake. God opens doors that fear can't even imagine, and when you step through, you realize that everything you were afraid of was never real. It was just preparation, just training, just the moment that builds the muscle of your spirit. And stepping forward isn't always about giant leaps. Sometimes it's about the small, consistent actions that keep you moving, the decisions to keep showing up, the refusal to stay stagnant. Every step, no matter how small, carries power when it's fueled by faith. The courage to move forward transforms you from a passenger in life to the driver of your destiny. It teaches resilience, builds confidence, and proves to you that the world can't define your limits. You start to see that doors open when you're bold enough to knock, that opportunities reveal themselves when you're willing to act, and that God rewards those who don't wait passively for blessings but step into them with determination. And here's the thing, courage inspires others. When you step forward despite fear, you become a living example that greatness is possible, that the impossible is achievable, that faith paired with action is unstoppable. You show that God's timing works in alignment with bold moves, that life changes when you refuse to remain hidden, that blessings manifest when you step into your calling fully. There's power in motion, woman, power in action, power in refusing to let fear dictate your life. The life you've been waiting for is on the other side of the hesitation, on the other side of doubt, on the other side of every "I can't" you've whispered to yourself. God's calling is louder than your fear, His plan bigger than your doubt. And when you finally muster the courage to step forward, you step into a reality that mirrors your faith, your strength, and your unstoppable potential. Life is full of signs, woman, little nudges and whispers that point you toward your destiny, and God speaks in ways that are quiet but powerful. Too often, people miss them, thinking they're coincidences, random moments, or nothing at all. But when you learn to recognize the signs, you start seeing the blueprint of your life unfold. God doesn't always announce His plans with trumpets and lights. Sometimes it's subtle, a conversation that changes your perspective, a feeling that won't leave your chest, an opportunity that shows up unexpectedly. Those signs are everywhere, but they only mean something when you're awake to them, when you're paying attention, when you've trained yourself to notice the moments that matter. Life has a rhythm, a pattern that, if you're tuned in, will guide you toward your purpose. But you can't recognize the signs if your mind is clouded by doubt, your heart weighed down by fear, or your spirit distracted by the noise of the world. You have to slow down, quiet the chaos, and learn to listen. God gives signs to remind you that you're not alone, that your prayers aren't unheard, that the life you're meant to live is already being prepared while you walk in faith. They are confirmations, validations that the path you're on is real, that the steps you're taking are aligned with your destiny, and that even when it feels like the world is moving against you, the universe is moving for you. Recognizing signs also means trusting your intuition, the deep knowing inside you that can't be explained by logic alone. That gut feeling, that persistent thought, that small voice telling you to act, to wait, to move, to speak, it's God speaking directly to your spirit. And the more you pay attention, the more you realize that life is a conversation, a dialogue between you and the divine, and every sign is part of that conversation. But seeing the signs requires awareness and courage. It means you can't ignore the subtle hints, can't dismiss the moments that seem too small, can't doubt the messages sent in ways you don't immediately understand. When you begin to recognize signs, you start making decisions that align with your purpose, choices that move you closer to the life you've been praying for, opportunities that match the vision God placed inside you. You stop wasting energy on distractions, on people, on places that don't belong to your story, because the signs point you toward what does. And here's the beauty of it. The more you tune in, the more obvious the signs become. Like the universe itself is opening its arms to guide you, like God is showing you that your life is intentional, that nothing is random, and that everything from the pain to the blessings is connected to a plan bigger than yourself. When you can recognize these signs, you start living in alignment with destiny rather than reacting to chaos, and every step, every decision, every moment becomes part of the journey toward the extraordinary life that's waiting for you